Jeff, what are you doing over there, man?
I was flipping through the arts and leisure section, seeing if I could get any good recs for you guys.
Who's that there on the back?
This here is an album once lost is given new life. The task of reviving Mark Linkous' final recordings became a family affair. That's Mark Linkous. Anybody like to check him out?
Well, yeah. That's interesting. So you're reading the arts and section over there?
Hold on a minute. In the news. Just in case they get a great new graphic.
Yeah.
Microsoft needs an Xbox hit, and Bethesda's otherworldly adventure may fit the bill. You a video game player?
Oh, huge gamer. No,
you're not.
No.
Your kids are. Pearson will like this.
Yeah, he'll play some sports stuff, a little bit of.
You ever play video games? Did you when you were like
Nintendo?
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
I don't anymore either.
Nintendo.
I just, they made them so good. Like around college for me or high school was whenever PlayStation 2 came out, and Grand Theft Auto, and you could just explore this world all night long. It was too addictive. I mean, you can't stop playing it.
Sports games?
And I can only imagine now. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sports games?
Tiger Woods, PGA Tour 2001 or something. I was world ranked on there. That was one of the beginnings of how you could actually go online and compare stuff. I had a world ranking.
I mean, I'm not even kidding about this. Like, I could see, I've never played a video game that's like has multiple levels and all that stuff, but I could see how you could get so deep in that it's like, Jeff, you have to come outside. Like, your personality, honestly, like, I could see where you're like, no, I'm getting to the end of this.
Oh, yeah, totally. Well, I would be sitting in class at University of Kentucky, and all I'm thinking about is, when is this over so I can run to my dorm room and finish this game or keep playing the game?
Wow.
I like how you said, I can tell you don't play video games. I've never played a video game that has multiple levels, is what he said. Yeah. Has there ever been one made that doesn't have that? There's one level.
Okay. Well, I didn't realize I was going to get made fun of for that. Like,
no,
I
it's
don't.
different levels.
There's just one thing you do on this game. It's awesome. Just one thing. Beat it.
Pong.
Even that, you probably got to go on to a different level, don't you?
In Pong, it's just 2 bars, a ball, back and forth.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, my parents made me go outside. Anyways, hey, man, Chris Marr is on the podcast today. This is really exciting.
Woo! Thank you. All right, we got a studio.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
All
right, the crowd needs to calm down. They're getting out of control.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Welcome
Watch
on.
most episodes. I'm a fan.
Yeah, what?
Thanks.
So
Subscribe to the channel.
Great
hey,
guy.
can I pause real quick? I brought you guys something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, there's rules to this stuff.
Okay.
I mean, if this is going to be part of future podcasts, it's just a little prop.
I like
this. This is for the hosts.
I'm the nervous wreck.
And I mean, you guys go back and forth. It's great entertainment.
Yeah, if this thing's alive, I don't know if we can keep it.
Well,
snake. Pet snake. Can I have that? Fail button. God, yes. Thank you.
y'all can use it very judiciously, but not.
You do not get to keep it over there. Put it in the center.
You're welcome.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
That is great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go
ahead and ask your first question.
All
This
right,
is going to be
we're off and running.
weaponized against me. Well, man, Chris, I could spend our entire podcast just telling Chris Marr stories. You are one of my favorite people, not just at Village Caregiving. You're one of my favorite people in the entire company.
I fooled another one.
Yeah, I have moments where I reference Chris Marr. I mean, you're a living legend within the organization. Let's just start with this. Okay, so Chris Marr's story at Village Caregiving. Some people would say it starts in Beckley, West Virginia, where you launched the Beckley office, which is the second largest office in the company today. Okay, very close to being the largest office in the company. Some people would say that it starts with your time first meeting Wade McGlone at the Q in Charleston, right? But where did the intersection of Chris Marr and Village Caregiving first take place? Do you remember?
I do, and it involved our host.
Okay. Now, nothing's off limits. Divulge everything.
Oh, no, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Worked with Jeff in the past, as you well know, at the state capitol, working on getting laws passed.
Okay, a lobbyist, if you will.
A lobbyist.
Okay.
Government affairs professional.
Yeah.
A policy entrepreneur.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
Anyhow, it was a very busy time at the Capitol. And there's Jeff Stevens.
Yeah, a young, dashing entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Young, dashing entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Typing.
Really?
Tap, 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 tap. Just doing the same thing. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, billing. I'm like, isn't there an easier way to do that, Jeff?
Yeah.
Technology evolves, and then we got Leanne. But that was the first time I'd seen Village Caregiving at work. I'd been around them. They talked about the stories. We're bringing ice cream to Mrs. Jones.
I see. So you knew, to go back, you knew Matt and Jeff from the state capitol, right? You
Yes.
guys were in West Virginia working at the Charleston Capitol, and then you were, and I don't want to tell you guys' story, but you were in need of an office space, or you needed some space to work out of. The Charleston Village Caregiving office is, as historically a big old house. We had this thing with big old buildings. The Charleston office was there. Wade was running the Charleston office, and then you end up upstairs in the attic of the Charleston office before you had really any Village Caregiving history. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it led into being around, and it was in 2019, I believe. Wade was going on a vacation to Cancun. And Wade was the only one at the Charleston office.
Right.
And said, can I help? I was very appreciative of the space. He was always great. Can I help? He took that phone and said, here you go. Team effort.
Team effort.
Team effort.
So fast forward, the opportunity comes to open the Beckley office, right? And we joked when Ben Keenan was on the podcast that Ben had a history if he would go to the Pikeville office and he slept on a couch there. He would shower at a gym there. Chris Marr wrote the story on Village Caregiving Survival. I mean, this guy, I think the mattress in the Beckley office just recently left. You were a real missionary in the Village Caregiving field. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
You were a night owl. Is that a fair statement?
It's a fair statement.
Okay, I am too. What time do you go to sleep? How do you go to sleep? And why do you go to sleep? Because whenever you stay up as late as we do, those are actually become legitimate questions. I want to stay up all night every night, but then you just know I can't do this. How do you fall asleep at night?
Try to turn my brain off.
How? Read a book, TV, stare at the ceiling?
My latest tactic is YouTube. Lucid dream music. Black screen.
It works for you?
It works.
Okay.
And they have different themes. Some will tap into your inner spirit.
I figured you'd have an answer for this. See? Good question, wasn't it?
I know.
And
We can't ask a
absolutely-
bad one today, guys.
Absolutely works. Some of them bring wealth. Some of them bring. It's the drone. It's almost like a rain noise, right? A white noise.
Yeah.
But it's a different, almost Gregorian chant. And it just.
Well,
You
you know,
asked.
there's science behind this.
Absolutely.
By the way,
I
Yeah.
think so.
you can. I have an actual.
And why do I go to
don't know if I
sleep?
should plug the product on here. I guess I can. Why not? It's called Brain Tap. I'm sure they would like the publicity.
Hello, Brain Tap.
I picked this up at a medical conference. It's a headphone and visor, kind of different lights and sounds, but it's a person talking. So you can search on there, I want to be better at golf, or I want to de-stress at work, whatever the thing is, right? And within, I am not joking, man, like 12 minutes is about how long it takes. before you start to get into that state where you're not even really 100% sure if you're awake or asleep. You know, you're kind of having these
Hovering.
weird dreams that don't make much sense. But this talking is saying these things that your brain is absorbing in a certain way. And it really, truly, you can do this for a half an hour, 20 minutes. That's what it's recommended. When you search that, that's how long the little talk is. Whenever you're finished, it's like you slept for 3 hours. You can get up off the couch, totally revived, rejuvenated, brain tap.
Brain tap.
Was this the thing that you guys were doing in the zero gravity chairs at the conference that day?
Yes. Yeah. Did you try it?
No.
I tried it, and I had an
Yeah.
open mind about it, and I
Thank
bought
you.
one.
Bought it, yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
I went by and Matt Walker had a blindfold over his eyes or whatever was happening. He was covered up and in that zero gravity chair.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he liked it, but he didn't like it as much as me. But
Sure.
I was just like, well, this is excellent.
Is it hypnosis in a sense?
I would compare it, honestly, it's like a guided meditation. It tries to get you into a state of mind that's sort of like you're meditating, but it guides you with certain messaging. I think it's neat.
You two operate on a different frequency than I do. Like I know that about you guys. You guys are.
think?
I sit at your feet and learn from both of you two. That I know. for sure.
That makes
Yeah.
more sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to stay awake at 10 o'clock. And you guys are taking virtual tours of.
Life's just getting started for us.
Yeah.
You know, boxing matches don't come on until midnight.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me
Right?
about it, man. What fight was it a few weeks back? I mean, it didn't start till 1 a.m, UFC.
Yeah.
I was just done.
This weekend there was a fight, and it doesn't come on until 12:30.
Yeah.
You have to stay up.
I remember one time, this was a classic Chris Marr story. I was in Cincinnati for a conference. Chris was driving from Charleston or Martinsburg going to Michigan. And no, you were going to Columbus to golf. You were going to meet some folks from work for a golf thing for this thing. And this was a classic Chris Marr statement for me. He said, I just got into the hotel. We'd been in conferences all day. I just got in the hotel. I had to talk to him about something. And he said, well, man, we finished up what we were talking about. And he said, man, I've got nothing but windshield time for the next couple hours. I'm charging one AirPod at a time. You just want to hang out? And I was like,
Just wanted a road buddy.
this guy, I think the AirPod lifespan is like 3 or 4 hours. So he was factoring maybe 8 hours of talk time. I was like, I'll hang out for a little while, but I've got to go to bed. And we just
Well,
talked,
Chris
but-
has a remarkable ability to build relationships. And even going back to when we both worked in government affairs, you'll know I'm not just making this up, vouch for me. Almost every single, we're trying to pass bills or stop bills, right? We were always opposed with each other.
We were. I tell that story all the time.
Always in conflict, huh?
Pretty close. Maybe we had one.
That we could work together on? Yeah, without getting
The last
into
night
the
of session.
weeds.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah. That
But
was one of my favorite.
It seemed like we
moments.
were always, and it wasn't like there's that whole world gets a bad rap, and some of it's deserved. I'm not going to act like it's not. There's some lobbying that goes on that shouldn't, probably.
Okay.
But we had pretty decent clients most of the time. They just disagreed about something, but we were constantly at loggerheads over the bills. We didn't ever get a chance to be on the same team, it didn't seem like.
Not really.
And that right there, if you have never been around the state capitol or in that world, it's really easy to form, just like grudge match enemies, rivals. I hate this guy. We never, ever had that experience. So we were able to just still get along, have some laughs like, hey, I know you got to do what you got to do. And it was nice. And so he has that personality. And then you build Beckley, like Aaron talks about. You've been to Martinsburg, launched that office. Now you're in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Totally different. You're not from any of these places I've said yet. Well, Michigan's close, but not Ann Arbor. So you go to different cities, and you're able to quickly and effectively build these relationships with people in places you've never been. How do you do that? What's the key to it?
Listen. Be kind. Appreciate what people have going on in their lives.
Yeah.
And in whatever profession and whatever, and just in life in general, it's a lot of lessons that I learned from my oldest brother. And he was a very special man. Very special. 23 chromosomes. Person with Down syndrome. And I learned so much from that it's innate. And it's hard to explain, but that's the best way I can explain it, to build relationships. Trust, integrity.
Mm-hmm.
I say it at the Capitol all the time. If you want to sit here and BS, I'll BS you all day. I'll never lie to you, though.
Yeah.
We can cajole.
Yeah.
Humor. I think humor is a good medicine for building relationships. If you can make someone smile or laugh, you have a friend.
That's cool.
Here's a quick Chris Marr story for you. We were in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Matt and I drove.
Your favorite place, right?
Yeah. Shirts are optional in Martinsburg. We found that out.
What?
We were there in the middle of the summer, and we started seeing how
You got to explain that to the people of Martinsburg. Aren't going to be happy.
No,
with you.
I think they would find it as a badge of honor. We just happened that day. It was really hot, and we kept noticing there was an abnormal amount of adult men out that were shirtless downtown. And so then it kind of became a thing like, do you think by the time we go from point A to point B, what's your bet on how many shirtless people will pass? And I mean, it got high, like double digit, like, well, maybe we'll see 10 between here and there, and you would see 10. And it was a real wild trip in itself. The whole thing, he invited Matt and I up to Martinsburg, but we went to a client's apartment. Okay.
Didn't really clean that up very well.
This is a serious story.
Well, I mean, it was all fine until he took his shirt off.
Yeah, I thought it was a thing.
He was trying to fit in.
We were
part of the community.
This was back during. No, don't you hit that button. We were in Martinsburg during the height of COVID, and we were having. We were up there. Chris invited me up. I'm a nurse. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that on the podcast or not. And Chris needed some superior clinical advice. He needed some clinical opinions on some stuff. So they brought in the big guns. They brought me in town. All right. And so I'm there, and Chris and I, we drive across town, we go to this veteran's apartment, okay?
Yeah.
And it had historically not been a very good situation. There was a lot of challenges with the apartment. And we pull up, and we see the client outside, and so we go over, and I say I thought both of us were going over. But I quickly realized I was by myself in this situation. I'm like, where did Chris Marr go? He's elusive, so you're like, well, I got to find him,
Probably taking a phone call somewhere.
No, Chris
Okay.
had spotted in the parking lot a lady that was in scrubs. And last week, Corey Watson was on. Corey was talking about always being out in the community, always engaging with people, always trying to generate something, just in the activities, right? And so I'm there. I'm very singly focused. I'm going to go take care of the situation with this client. But Chris was there. He knew I had this handled. We're in good shape. I look back, and Chris is engaging with this lady in the parking lot who has scrubs on. He's asking her, like, what do you do for a living? What has you here? This was a hard situation to staff, and Chris sees that someone is in the parking lot of this veteran's apartment wearing scrubs, so this may be a possibility. Before we left, Chris had her contact information, found out that her sister was looking for a job and was in this line of work. I mean, I'm like, this dude is a wizard, So this is a pretty bad environment. Later that day, we're in this client's apartment. Again, pretty challenging situation. Later that day, we're at dinner with one of the more influential politicians in the whole state of West Virginia. And I watched Chris, within a matter of a couple hours, navigate a very challenging customer situation while also navigate a very influential person within the state government's situation. All within the span of a couple hours. And I'm like, this dude is legitimately a wizard. Like, I could just hang out with him and learn life lessons all day. His ability to communicate and to talk and to earn trust with people on every end of the spectrum is unbelievably talented. Like, you're great at it. And you probably already know that.
I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I'm blessed. In that capacity.
Did you hear all that?
I mean,
My God. I mean, it's like a eulogy.
do I owe him money?
Probably.
I think so.
That was
Chris
a lot
was
of praise. That was a lot
that was.
Chris was a good man, and we'll miss him immensely. He's still alive.
Chris, what are your hobbies? Do you bake? Do you woodwork? Do you hunt mushrooms?
That was interesting. I've heard that on this podcast. That was very interesting.
It is.
I've reached out to Mr. Walker about that.
Matt
Sent him
Walker and
pictures.
I, we actually went out on his property there at his house on Saturday this past weekend. Looked for some hen of the woods mushrooms. Didn't find any. It was fun, though. Actually, I had a really good time scavenging around. I get
sent
the
him a
allure
picture of a
it.
mushroom in my yard. I said, "Can I eat it?"
He knows, too.
And
He'll tell you all about it.
He said yes.
Yeah.
Hey.
And I ate it.
Here's
Well,
a
anyways.
news article. This is
My
breaking
hobbies?
news.
Okay.
I read this just recently.
Yeah.
That a lot of Amazon sold survival guides that tell you what you can eat at night are written by AI, and they're incorrect, and it could cost people their lives. And so the real survivalists, the Bear Grylls of life, are saying, make sure that the author is legitimate, or you could go out and eat that mushroom that was in his yard and die. So,
Phew.
Yeah.
Glad I made it.
yeah.
Well, just remember that.
I
If you
will.
write it down or
I
something.
mean,
what are
I
your-
trust Matt Walker.
What are
I
your
mean,
hobbies? I
yeah.
trust him, too. What are your hobbies?
Fishing, hiking, riding, cycling, golf, anything outdoors.
Ah, I didn't
I mean,
really
I
know
just
that
I,
about you,
I
to be
like
honest.
to I just came up with this. It's nature. Is a verb. I like to nature.
No, I get it. I
Right?
like that.
I mean, just being outside.
What do you spend most of your hours on of all those 6, 7 different things, from fishing to golf? I mean, what's the latest?
The latest is fishing. Since I've relocated
Yeah.
from West Virginia to Michigan,
You got some brand new kinds of fishing. What are
Bountiful.
you fishing for?
bass, walleye, perch,
Good walleye fishing up there in
good
those
walleye
parts.
fishing.
Yeah.
You know what? I haven't got anyone to tell me where they are yet. They keep it very secret.
Really?
Yeah, because it's a very cherished fish. It's
Yeah.
good eating. It's great eating fish. So people don't want to tell you where the hot spots for the walleye are.
Wow.
And as you were praising my ability to make friends, I make the friends. They still won't tell me where the walleye are. It's very confounding.
Maybe you could follow them to their favorite wall,
thought about
secretly track them,
Thought about it. Follow the guys at the bait shop.
Yeah.
Buying walleye rigs.
stalk them.
Where you going?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool that there's
put a
a
tracker
thing like
on their
that
car.
around that area where they seriously don't want to let the cat out of the bag? I think that's awesome.
It is.
Let the
I'm gonna
walleye
find
out
it.
of the bag.
No, okay. Called it on yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, I deserve that one. Thought I'd get there first.
All right, the first.
That was funny. Bravo.
My people.
2 AAA batteries if it gets overused.
Yeah, well, yeah. Probably ought to cool this thing down.
Chris, serious question. What would you like for your family to see you as in your career and learn from watching you work?
Your work ethic. Work hard. Take pride in your work. Integrity, honesty. As it's been said many times, doing the right thing. If you stick to those characteristics, I think you can be successful in anything you want to do.
Are you surprised at how your career path has gone throughout your life?
Somewhat.
What was
Absolutely.
the very beginning of it? You're out of school, you go to work, your first real job is what?
I mean, I grew up in Chicago, suburbs of Chicago. Graduated high school and went to California. My mother was living out there. Started working at retail, REI, Recreational Equipment Inc. Shout out, guys. Thank you.
Sponsorship?
REI.
We'll get a mug.
Yep.
I fell in love with rock climbing, which I didn't list that as a hobby because I'm just getting a little older.
Yeah.
There aren't any rocks in Michigan really to climb. But I moved to West Virginia in 1994 as a rock climbing guide
Really?
and as an independent manufacturer's representative for climbing gear companies. I had like 5, it was like lobbying clients. I had 5 clients: ropes, clothing, holds for climbing walls, the actual manufacturer of the climbing walls, because I actually helped build a climbing gym, one of the first ones in LA back in the day. And so I moved to West Virginia as a rock climbing guide and sales rep on the East Coast for all these California companies, one of which has recently been purchased by Adidas.
Yeah. You go from REI and rock climbing to what's next?
When I moved to West Virginia, moved here to get married. 29 years. Love you, honey.
Mrs. Marr, shout out.
29 years. Congrats.
29 years last Sunday.
Oh, wow.
But that's a job too. It's a job. You don't get through it without putting your work in. And the career path has been just, we were married 3 months. The guiding season was coming to an end. The cash flow was going down. Mrs. Marr looks at me and goes, when are you going to get a real job? Oh, I was 23 years old. I had a real job. I had a career. I was going to be a rock climbing guide. And all I did was ask my neighbor, where do you work? Hey, where do you work, Brenda?
This guy's made a life out of this.
Yeah, pretty much. No, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. And it was, I work in the speaker's office. Cool, what's speaker? Well, she points at the Capitol, and then my social studies classes and civics comes by. I'm like, Speaker of the House? It's always been kind of a nerd. I've always been intrigued by it. But Speaker of the House. I did run for treasurer in junior high and won.
Really? You controlled the purse strings?
Of the supply
yeah.
cabinet. We sold pencils and paper. And you know why I won? Because my name's Chris Marr. I'm good at math. Landslide victory.
Wow.
That was your campaign slogan.
It was. But so the Capitol comes up, and worked around there for about 7 years, and then I learned the process, worked hard, learned, and got into government affairs, lobbying. My first client was 7 states, managing other lobbyists in other states.
Wow.
31 at the time.
That's a big first job.
It was a big first job.
A lot of responsibility and hard work, too.
It was going out and making friends and getting acclimated to different environments and different people and different cultures. And it was just kind of second nature.
Yeah, and a lot of that job is actually a lot like this one, because what it is educating. So you think, listen, when you're in the legislature, let's say that you're Delegate Gustin here, there's going to be thousands of bills come through each session. It is literally impossible for you to read every one of them and be an expert on every one of them. So if Chris is representing athletic trainers, for example, you're going to have to rely on his expertise to tell you what's in this 78-page bill that might be before your committee next week. And that's how you build trust, because the first time he tells you something wrong that's not what's in that bill, you can't take his word for it anymore. And that's a really important thing. So what you're doing is you're educating. You're also advocating for a position, but you are doing a lot of educating. And that's kind of the same thing now.
It is.
Because home care is a young industry. There's a lot of education that comes along with what we have to do.
Absolutely. I mean, every day is different. Every day is a different challenge.
Sure is.
Right?
Yeah.
In the home care industry, in the business. And it's no different. I mean, in that regard, it's no different than working at the Capitol and having that background of just being able to pivot and move real quick and solving problems and educating people. Definitely.
Yeah. Last question. I asked this to Corey Watson last week. I want to ask you too. Who is your hero?
Oh, man. My brother, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
My brother Jeffrey, absolutely, taught me so much on how to be kind, listen. Although he did always tell me I talk too much. Not wrong, but
no, he
definitely my brother Jeffrey. Just very special person to me. And
I know
the older I get,
it's hard for you to talk about.
No, it's good. He got promoted last year, and he was, like I said earlier, he's a person with Down syndrome, and there's just something very special about persons with that extra chromosome that are very unique. And he taught me a lot about how to just be me and own it no matter what.
Yeah. That's special.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing it.
That's a good question. I hadn't thought about it, but I didn't really flinch. Don't get me wrong. Mom, Dad, I love you. But I think in our entire family, he's kind of the hero for all of us.
Great.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Chris, what's your favorite village caregiving memory?
You know what? That's a good question.
I know it involves.
You know what? I have. It was actually in Beckley, and Sherry Wolf,
Yeah.
another OG.
Yep.
Director of nursing at our Charleston office.
Yep.
Yeah.
She came down from Charleston, and we went to the Beckley Veterans Parade. It was like the most fun. Walking for 2 miles maybe, passing out candy, giving them village caregiving bags. Chum. The kids would come and grab the whole bag of candy.
Yeah.
I let them have it.
Really?
I did. I probably should not have, but we had more bags of candy.
I see. Plenty of candy.
Plenty of candy.
Plenty of candy.
There was more.
You know, one time someone asked you what your title at Village Caregiving was. You told him you were the CEO of the company.
I did.
You declared that you were the CEO of the
I
company.
did. I have said that.
But
Self-anointed.
yes, but not the traditional type.
No.
Of CEO.
Oh, gosh,
what,
no.
What
Oh,
does CEO stand for you?
I'm not smart enough. No way I could be. I'm the Chief Energy Officer.
Chief Energy Officer. Yes.
Chief Energy Officer, Village Caregiving, Chris Marr. Motivational speaker.
Well,
And actually, that you know what, those first annual meetings were fun. And actually, now that I think, the parade was awesome, just because it was outdoors. It's getting to nature.
Yeah.
nature. He was nature.
But at the first few meetings, I'd sit there and listen, absorb, nothing prepared, and then at the end of the meeting, I just raise my hand.
Oh.
Hi, can I just say something? This is really cool. You guys are doing something really neat here. Cool, yeah, I think. And I talked with the guys before Charleston opened. Hey, I'm like, no, I'm okay right now. And then I guess I was getting closer to 50 and just decided, no, you know what? I want to try something different.
Yeah.
This lobbying that's part-time. It's simple. I want a new challenge. And at those meetings, it was so much fun to listen. And it's the same message. It's the same culture. It's the same environment. Even though, and when I talk to caregivers and try to explain to them in Michigan, we're still somewhat new to Michigan. My thumbnail kind of script is, we're somewhat new to Michigan, but we're not new. We've been around since 2013, 10 years. I think, what was Beckley? Office number 9-ish?
Maybe,
It was in
yeah,
the first
probably
dozen.
sooner than that, likely.
Yeah.
So I like telling that story and just going, it's been great to watch it grow from.
Well, and it became
Couch.
a tradition. So then
Yeah.
we ended several annual meetings.
Oh, yeah.
The chief energy officer
energy
is going to
officer.
leave you with a few words to go home,
Right. Yeah.
pumped up about. And it was great, man.
But then last year, tragedy struck.
Tragedy did strike.
Tragedy struck.
Yeah.
Oh, you lost your voice. That's right. Yeah.
Chris,
Tragedy.
Yeah,
But I
Chris-
was able to get out one thing that I thought was really good.
Okay.
And it was, we are the village. We are the village. And it was,
There's always a tagline
Yeah.
to it.
right?
Remember what it was before that?
Learn.
Learn.
An acronym.
An
Yeah.
acronym. And that's good government background, right? Having acronyms.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's listen, empathize, appreciate,
Yeah.
respect, and nice.
Nice. He hit us with nice.
That
right
was
at the
the
end.
Corey and I, our favorite one was nice.
Nice.
Just be nice.
Yeah.
Just be nice.
And so now whenever I get an email from a new candidate that's applying for the Ann Arbor, he'll say they are Learn Certified. Chris Marr Learn Certified.
I forgot I put that.
They have
Yeah.
a certificate on there. I love it.
100%. Well, I don't know that there's anyone in Village Caregiving that has more fun doing it than you do. And I guess the last question that I have for you before we jump into the fishbowl here
Oh,
is,
boy.
where do you, I mean, you've done this in 3 offices now. You launched Ann Arbor, a new improved version of what you did in Beckley, what you did in Martinsburg. You adapt. You're always bringing on new technology. You're always willing to learn the new Village Caregiving way of doing things. But you do it like it's the first time you've ever done it. I mean, that youthful energy is there. You do it with such excitement. You're willing to go out, get back in the ditch. Some people get spoiled
Jeez,
by it.
man.
Some people
Thanks.
throw on a fresh robe with the lower belt
I
loop.
hope my
but,
wife watches this.
oh, yeah.
I've never heard him talk somebody up like this
I mean,
before.
effusive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What
I'll come back next week.
Yeah, well, we're
You're
wanting
good.
to have
You're
you back.
helping me, man. This
Yeah.
is good.
That's what we do here. Where does that come from? Where's that continuous drive?
Curiosity.
I see. You never run out of gas.
No, you maintain, be curious, want to learn, do better, faster. I'm getting old, so
Yeah.
maybe I just want to keep going. It really is just curiosity and wanting to do learn more. I mean, if you ever quit wanting to learn, if I hit that day, I'm out. I won't work. I'll just no. And I've shown that short that Jeff Stevens I show it every candidate. I even show it to caregivers. This is what we do. If it ever changes, I quit.
That's right.
Right?
And you never run out of energy.
No, sir.
That's a fact.
Not as the
sir.
CEO of the company, he doesn't. In fact,
Energy. Oh boy.
remember the nickname I gave you when we were in Martinsburg?
I think I referenced it earlier today.
Yeah.
I forgot to refill my parking meter.
How much is a ticket?
Probably like $5.
The team's saying let it go. Impact says.
After 4?
Yeah, after 4, no rules down here, bro.
I got a ticket in Lansing. I went
think
to
it
visit
ran
Victoria
out at 3 though.
in Lansing.
They're good.
You have until the end of the day to pay the ticket, and it's $5 till midnight. Got to 11:59 because I was up. I couldn't find the ticket. It's going to turn into probably about a $40 ticket.
Oh man, you
Lansing.
procrastinated.
Oh boy, the fishbowl.
That's the way it goes. Hey, my wife just got her food handler's card. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, man, the crowd really comes alive.
Good job, babe. Love
Congratulations,
Yeah.
Sarah, for all your
Absolutely.
food handling.
When's dinner?
certificates.
it. Right, she's a great cook too. I'm just gonna tell you everything that's going on in my life. We'll take a break from this.
Hey, I meant to ask you, what is with the shirt? I see a.
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
Marshall Golf. My son plays for the Marshall Golf team.
Are
Cameron?
you serious?
You knew that stuff.
Okay.
Cameron does? He's playing for Marshall?
Yeah.
Didn't he just win the amateur?
He just won the West Virginia Amateur.
Do you remember? Cameron, buddy, great job. I saw it on the news, and that's Cameron.
Yeah.
From, I think it was maybe an election night.
Yeah.
Back, was it like 2016? It was
Oh,
2016.
when you first met him?
Yes,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
very
little kid.
Actually, you know what? I met him before because he and Sarah were part of JDRF, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation,
Oh,
and my
that's right,
nephew
yeah.
was very active in my sister-in-law, very active in it. So I actually had met them before and didn't put it all together until after I met them again. And I remember I had a towel from a very nice golf course in Columbus,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Muirfield Village.
Yeah.
And I had it up in the attic in my office, and I was like, man, this kid, what was he, 12 maybe? Around?
7 years ago. So yeah, he was 12.
Okay.
God, can you believe that's 7 years ago?
I know. Trust me.
Whew.
I mean, I'm AARP eligible now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Big news, guys.
This is great.
Yeah.
What a good. The chief energy officer comes in and just applause starts going
We
around.
can't keep the applause down.
Yeah,
But
I
no,
remember that.
Cameron he was so into golf then, and then just to watch that and seeing young people succeed.
Yeah.
And it was,
So 19 years old, and he was like the youngest or tied for the youngest to win the West Virginia Amateur in 104 years.
Well, he's a local celebrity. I remember
Proud
one
of him.
time we
Good
were at
kid, too.
Yeah, we were at a local restaurant,
kid.
and you were talking about Cameron, and just bragging on him how great of a kid he is and how talented he is. He was still in high school, and over your shoulder, he was on the local news being interviewed for something with, and you're like, oh yeah, there he is.
No, he's not shy
And
either.
I'm like, my goodness, this kid.
He's just kind of like Chris.
A delegate-
He'll meet anybody.
a delegate from Huntington I was speaking to at the Capitol yesterday, and we started talking about golf. I'm like, he goes, oh yeah, I know.
Really?
I know Cameron. He's a fine young man.
I know. He is.
I mean, all right.
This is great.
Marshall Golf, huh? So he's playing there?
Yep.
Sure.
Good man.
Yeah.
Is it fair?
I think I was
He's
at
a
a
pretty-
Marshall game not long ago, and they recognized the golf team and a couple other teams, and he was down there on the sidelines too.
Really?
Yeah. Chris, let me ask you a question.
Oh boy.
Fishbowl time.
Here we go.
Oh.
All of this is 100%. On a curvy road with nobody coming toward you, do you go way across the yellow line to straighten out that curve?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Next.
My driving instructor told me one time, she's
Mandatory.
like, I know that you were raised in the country because you believe that the center of the road is your lane. and that's
I concur. I
Yeah.
learned that in West Virginia.
yeah. The new vehicles have the center line detector, so it's always trying
Turn
to
it off.
push me. I know.
Oh, that's the first thing I do with any vehicles. I turn off everything.
Dee-dee-dee-dee.
I pull out the. Oh, am I gonna get in trouble for this?
Oh,
I pull out the
Hold on.
fuse that makes my the auto
The auto
on off.
Yeah.
It's connected, by the way, often to your trailer package. If you pull that, which you don't have to always be towing something, but if you pull that, it disables your auto on off. I get out the guide. I do all the steps to disable the seatbelt alarm. I don't want this truck doing anything that I don't tell it to do. I call it being bossy car. I don't want that car bossing me around at all. Hush, drive around.
My wife has a Subaru. She names it Rue. Rue is the most irritating.
Rue's on your case all
Rue's
day.
on my case.
It's
You
the
can't-
worst.
You can't roll 5 feet. We're not out of the parking lot yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm
And you
gonna
got to
get to it.
cross over the line.
Yeah, as you guys.
But you
Crossover.
don't,
Yeah.
I don't think that's that common a thing. Everybody in this room gets
No,
it. Maybe it's a
no.
West Virginia
You were
country
against
road,
it, right?
curvy road type
You're
of
staying
thing.
in your lane.
It's more efficient.
Oh, if there's a line, you obey it.
Yeah, but if it's, I'm used to back roads that don't have a median line.
Okay, so you don't have. You're not used to having the. Okay.
The last
Yeah.
time we went to Fayetteville in West Virginia, you got to go over Golly Mountain, and
Yeah.
it's a great road to drive. I was driving so fast and cutting every curb that Sarah started crying.
Crying?
Yeah.
Is that Route 60?
Sorry, baby.
Did you go route? Like, yeah, I know the road. That's a good road. That's a great road.
It's great.
I
At
love
that
it.
point, you made your wife. You move on to this next question here. Chris, what order do you brush your teeth? Like top to bottom, or like do you want
Yes.
the proper names?
No, top to bottom.
You put a toothbrush in your mouth.
Yeah.
What side? Left,
go.
right, up,
I mean,
down,
I guess I
inside,
start
out.
with my, front teeth and then just go. I don't know that there's much.
You think you follow the same pattern every time?
I've tried to brush left-handed. I'm right-handed. Try brushing with your left hand.
Oh, that sounds
Golly.
way too hard.
It is hard.
Why do you do it?
In case he loses that right one.
Just getting prepared?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darth Vader,
I mean,
hand comes
it might
off, you're
come
still
it
brushing
might come in
teeth.
handy someday.
I'm
Getting old. I might hurt my.
Here's a quick embarrassing story. I was really into brushing the other day. I was fully dressed for work. I was
Yeah.
really into brushing. And that thing got away from me. I mean, it was covered in toothpaste. It bounces off the sink and hits me in the front of my pants. All right. And I'm like, well, Lord, I'm going to have dried toothpaste all over the front of when I go to work. I need to wash this off. So I get a washcloth out, right? And I wash that off, okay? I then go downstairs. My morning routine is to walk the dog while the kids get ready. I'm out walking the dog, and I pass a lady out walking her dog. I'm like, hey, good morning. I had on khaki pants. I look down, and it looks as if I have just wet myself. I was so embarrassed. I'm like, it was a mess. And go ahead.
Do you get dressed before you brush your teeth?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
It's the first thing I do when I wake up.
Well, he brushes his teeth in the shower,
I do
so
too.
that can't
That's what I
happen.
mean. I get in the shower and just go,
Yeah.
let it rip.
But I have a routine every single time. Yeah. I don't. It's
What's
not
your order?
a conscious thing, really. It just, I think, kind of start on the front, then I go to on the outsides, way back in there around try to get on the back of my molars. My wisdom teeth are pulled out, so I got a little space back there.
Got some room to work
A
with.
little bit of room to work with. I can
Yeah.
get back in there real good. Then I go back on this. and
Okay.
Circular motion. My dentist is always on me about circular motion, Jeff.
Yes.
Your gums are receding. Go
Yes.
gentler, circular. And also I got one that you press the button and it sort of vibrates. Not the crazy, like Sonic
Sonic ones.
I got one of those. Dude, it feels like I put my teeth up to an electric fence. It's too. So Sarah, I gave that to Sarah. She uses it. But I got a gentler vibrating one. Go all on the outside, right? Then you got to go. I go inside next. The tops I do last. I go inside. Top first. Start on the left. Work around.
Wow.
Get the
This is
middle,
an amazing reenactment.
go to
I
the
feel
right.
like we're there.
I
Inside
know.
at the bottom.
The floor
I'm
is
in-
vibrating.
Then I get the
This is-
caps. What do you call it? Tops.
Yeah.
Get them real good.
You go over that tongue, any?
No, I don't brush my tongue. I do floss before I floss first, then I brush.
In the shower?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I brush my teeth more than once a
Whoa.
day.
You know what? I have a related question. And it was something I was thinking about. I never have taken the personality exam. A little afraid.
Yeah.
How do you eat corn on the cob? Are you a spinner or a typewriter? Do you take your cob and go across?
Definitely typewriter, like Mickey Mouse style, or where
Yeah. Yeah.
ching. Yeah.
My family's 50-50.
What's the other way to do it? What do you do?
Spinner. You just spin
Oh,
it
yeah,
around.
work your way around
Oh, I
So you're a
see.
spinner.
No.
Typewriter?
I've seen it though. Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah. I'll be honest.
I've seen it done.
seen
Yeah,
it.
I've seen people.
Well, hey,
I mean,
if
murderers.
we have corn on the cob at a gathering,
Yeah.
you're going to see a spinner.
I'll tell you, it is, I love corn. I love corn on the cob. But as I've gotten older, people are so violent with their corn on the cob eating that I've just about gone out on it. I'm almost over it at this point. I mean, people are spraying you 2 tables down. You're like, good Lord, would you calm down with your corn on the cob?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's just I don't want that in my face and on my face. Like,
It does spray out there.
it does, and people get really great. I mean,
Get you one of them little COVID windshields.
yeah. I got one more here for you, Chris. This one's really going to blow your socks off, okay?
Oh, boy.
Chris, what's your least favorite sound?
Oh gosh, this could go on forever.
I would assume
we
silence.
We're already overtime. I could talk about this for a long
What's
time.
your least favorite sound?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's interesting. Not thought about it much because I probably try to avoid it. So what do I try to avoid?
That's a hard question.
That
isn't
is-
it?
that
I
is.
wonder if you share one, because we talked about being night owls. One of my very least favorite sounds is if I've stayed up all night long and I can tell the sun's about to come up soon. I better get to sleep. Otherwise, you're going to the point of kind of no return, and you hear outside the birds chirping, and you know you pushed it too far. When I hear that, I'm like, no. It's just, I know that the next couple of days of my life are disaster. You've
you're
taken
just
it
gonna-
too far. I hate when I hear that outside.
You're just going to skip that night and like, well, I guess we're into the next day now?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually that's a good answer.
That's how people...
I can relate to that.
Yep.
Been there.
How about this one? Whenever you hear somebody go, uh-oh. I hear that at work or in the house, or, I'm like, what? Your whole
Immediate.
body stops thinking, and you go, what?
You can't move forward. You're paralyzed.
Here. Uh-oh.
Jesus.
Okay, here's the third one for you. And maybe the very worst one of all. Least favorite sound on the whole planet.
Yeah.
You've gone out to a nice restaurant.
It's so nice.
You're really looking forward to it. It's you got date night with the wife.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Sit down. It's dimly lit. There's soft music. It's a nice place. Right over here over your shoulder is a table of real loud talking people, and one of them especially. Loud talker, grating voice,
Yeah.
real opinionated, not even good opinions,
Yeah.
telling all these stories, dominating this. They must be having a bad time too, but I can tell you for sure I'm going to have a bad time. Unlike the
loud talkers.
movies, I don't want to just leave because I'm hungry.
Right.
What's this movie thing?
When I hear that, oh yeah,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
somebody talks in a movie, I just leave. But in the restaurant, man,
Did you get a refund?
Loud talker at the table next to you is maybe my
That's-
least favorite sound on the planet.
It's very invasive.
Oh,
It ruins it.
I'll tell you mine. This is one thing two things I can't handle anymore. A loud exhaust. Like if your vehicle or you're on your motorcycle and it's super loud,
Ooh.
I'm just like, yeah.
Just-
Yeah, I hope it's a tragic end for you at that point, to be honest with you. I'm wishing ill will on you. I know. I'm very frustrated about it. It's
Screeching
just,
tires.
I
Screeching tires.
he went hard in the paint on
yeah,
that. Okay.
yeah. And then I think my other one at this point in my life is if I'm at an event and and everyone's having a good social time and maybe they've got a lot of liquid socialization in them, and the volume of the room just elevates because I'm still at a baseline and the room has elevated.
That's your problem.
I know. I just
you
can't.
Just gotta,
I'm like,
you
I
gotta
go
have some more
home.
liquid socialization
Yeah,
at that point
probably
because it's
so.
on you, not the rest of the
I
crowd.
might have lost my voice last year to that very essence.
It happens.
What's yours? Screeching tires and.
Screeching tires means that something's out of control.
Oh, okay.
That's scary hearing brakes. If you're on the, I mean, I'm a road warrior, so
Yeah.
you hear tires skidding, you don't know where it's coming from.
Bad news. I gotcha.
Is it in front of me?
Yeah.
Is it behind me? Is it coming from the side?
It's not good.
That's uh-oh. That's an uh-oh.
Yeah. Well.
Oh no, that's another. It's like
Oh,
Uh-oh.
no.
right.
Something's about to happen.
Yeah.
It's never good.
Well, Chris, man, I mean, I think you may be the one that's traveled the furthest for this now. Ann Arbor, would that be right?
It's about
I'd-
5.
Yeah, it's close. There's a lot of people that have come about 5 hours.
Okay.
I mean, are you guys going to take it on the road?
Well, one of our previous episodes, I said I was shopping for an RV to make it a mobile situation.
That would be fun. Actually,
Yeah, it'd be like college game day, but
Marv is my TV reality show.
there would be nothing to keep us from packing up a few mics, right? I mean, the
And
Impact
we could
folks
get them on
would
the road
help
with
us
us,
out
yeah.
with that, right,
Get-
Sam? Impact
Yeah.
Media shout out.
do you have a to-go bag? We could get this on the road.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I like it.
Chris.
Thanks, you guys, for having me.
Thanks, Chris.
Man, cheers to you.
Cheers, brother.
Village
Oh,
Caregiving.
man.
Yeah, I gotta touch on bad luck. Okay.
Thanks, man.